Well, you realize there is no original text of the Bible left anywhere on this world? It's all copies of copies of copies. So how can you go back to the original documentation? How can you put such faith in this? We don't even have anything original. It's just someone that copied something, and it's like the game of telephone. How do you know that what you're seeing is even anything like what the original thing was?
Do we have any original copies of Herodotus?
What?
Do we have any original copies of Herodotus?
Not personally.
Do we have any original copies of Caesar's Gallic Wars? Do we have any original copies of Suetonius, Tacitus? Do we have any original copies of any document?
Do we have to worship those people?
No, we don't have any of those original documents. Therefore, according to what I hear you saying is, it's all bunk. Because we don't have any of the original documents. Garbage. We have many copies that agree, going back to a very, very early date. And that's why we have study of Greek history, study of Roman history, study of Muhammad.
So we should have to study the Bible, but we shouldn't base our whole lives on it.
Good, study it, find out, is Jesus reliable? And if the evidence is that Jesus is reliable, put your faith, your trust in him, and grow closer to him.
Go back to evidence, though, again. There is no evidence.
Yes, there is. There's lots of historical evidence that Caesar fought the Gallic Wars. There's lots of historical evidence.
You talk about Jesus being reliable.
Yeah?
Well, there's evidence that he existed, but there's no evidence of him being reliable.
There is. There's historical information about how he treated people, what he taught ethically, how he died, loving and forgiving his enemies, how he rose from the dead.
Yeah, and there's plenty of evidence of people who know me that I'm a good guy and I treat people and everything, but I still lie, cheat, and steal.
That's why I don't worship you.
What it is, you have only certain things to go by. You're saying you have certain major acts to go by, and you're saying everything you did was perfect. There's probably not a kid there who didn't try to steal a candy bar from a candy store when they were a kid. People steal. People lie. So you're taking a few pages out of everything he did in his life and saying, oh, that's reliable. Everything he says must be true.
Those disciples observed him carefully for 3 years. So you can observe me carefully for 1 week, and you'd have more than enough evidence that I am a sinner. But these guys examined Jesus for 3 years, and they never saw him sin. And in John chapter 8, Jesus looks in the faces of his enemies and says, which one of you can prove me guilty of sin? And his enemies were silent. The evidence is the guy lived a sinless life. Well, that demands respect, doesn't it? I'm sure I can promise you, if you lived a sinless life, forget it. If you lived like Mother Teresa, I'd have a ton of respect for you. If you lived a sinless life, even better than Mother Teresa, I'd have a whole lot of respect for you. Then if you died and rose from the dead, I'd be following you around.